Hello, thank you for joining us today. This is the 6th episode of the Future of Information Management event series. We'll be talking today about email compliance that makes business sense. Before we get started, I have a few important messages. During the webinar, please feel free to submit questions via the chat window on your screen. We will try to answer all your questions at the end of today's webinar. If we don't answer any question, don't worry, someone from Harmony will answer you via email. As always, we are recording this webinar and we'll email it to you within a couple of days. Okay, I would like to introduce today's speaker, Yaakov Cohen. As the founder and CEO of Harmony, Yaakov is a driving force for humanizing technology. He believes technology should work for people and combines this into the nuances of building compliance solutions for global enterprises. Under his leadership, Harmony builds tech interfaces that protect companies while advancing human interactions, both in the workplace and outside of it. We also want to thank Julia Stetner, Service Manager for Microsoft 365 Information Protection and Governance at Allianz Technology, for recording a demo for us that we will play later. Yaakov, please.
Hi, hello everybody, and thank you for joining this sixth event in the series of the Future of Information Management. And today we will be talking about something you may be experiencing, which is the tension between business units and compliance and legal. And we would like to share with you today how to deal with this tension between business units and compliance. And we would like also to take a use case of Allianz, which has solved this tension when it has delivered compliance to 180,000 Microsoft 365 users across 52 operating business units. So we're going to share the Allianz experience. We will share also a demo of Julia showing you the actual implementation. And we will talk about the roadmap to really achieve an email compliance that makes business sense and to alleviate this tension between business and compliance. So let's get started. And really with Harmony, we really started as a tool company for several years. And our tool has been used to improve and facilitate email retention and email management in order to really make it easier for the end user. And today we are trusted by 1,600 organizations worldwide with 500,000 active installations. And really what we're doing now, and really this webinar is the start of a journey where we are going to share what we have learned from a compliance standpoint, not just as a tool to drag and drop emails to SharePoint and Teams, but actually what did we learn by working with some of the compliance leading organizations like Ernst & Young, Deloitte, the Government of Canada, Bosch, and Allianz, what we have learned about the business process and the integration between business requirements and technology. Because a lot of time that's where things are failing. It's really we come up with great technology, but we don't necessarily look at the integration with business, or the integration with business and with the user experience is not integrated enough, is not strong enough. So let's get going. And basically, if you take a look at it, legal are saying emails are a liability, while business units are saying emails are an asset. So who is right? And you may be facing that in your organization. You may not call it the retention battle, but there is, in a lot of organizations that we have worked with, there is a retention battle going on. And it goes that way. For legal, really, emails are reliability because GDPR is becoming more and more important. I mean, everybody is very much driven by GDPR. Nobody wants to breach GDPR. And for example, if you keep simply emails with performance review for employees, or you keep CVs from candidates, you may be breaching GDPR and you may be liable, your company may be liable. The other thing is, there are more and more lawsuits. A lot of them are frivolous lawsuits, and you may have a court subpoena to ask you to deliver emails in order to answer this type of lawsuit. The more email you have, the more evidence which can be leveraged by the other party. So for legal units, it makes a lot of sense to minimize the number of emails which are being kept. The other thing, it's also for IT. The more information you keep and the more emails you keep, the more potential of information leak you have if there is an intruder. So again, having less information and less emails is also better for security. So these are some of the arguments why you want to minimize the number of emails. Also storage, so much storage, and storage costs in the cloud are actually growing, are rising. So these are a lot of good motivation to really think twice. And what legal will want is to limit the period of retention for email. So for example, 90 days. Now, on the other hand, for business units, emails are crucial to keep business continuity. You want to keep the communication with a supplier. You may have critical attachments with contracts. You may have, within the body of the email, some additional commitments that you want to make sure are being recorded. You want to basically to have a management, a record management system, and emails are an important part of that. The other thing with business, you want to reuse content. If you are a sales team, you may want to have access to previously sent or previously presented presentation, previously presented proposals, marketing materials. We are always building marketing materials from older marketing materials, and that's the evolution of the marketing materials. And so being able to maintain and keep email and classify email in an easy way is a requirement for business units. So what do we do with these conflicting requirements? So it may look like that in your company. This is Melanie, our head of legal, and she insists the company delete all external emails that are more than 3 months old. And she says violating GDPR is a major risk that we can't take. And she's right to a degree. On the other hand, this is Josh, our head of professional services, which all our customers love. And Josh wants all emails retained for as long as possible so his team can deliver to clients more efficiently. Deleting these emails will affect our bottom line. We can't afford that. And then for Kevin, our IT manager, he's getting these conflicting requirements. The top management doesn't make a clear decision. He keeps hearing from legal, Melanie's team, and from Josh and his team, and he really doesn't know what to do. This might be a problem of IT. It might be a problem for information management. They are really being caught in the crossfire. So what do we do? But then Kevin and his IM team came with a pretty brilliant idea which potentially will mitigate both sides and will meet both requirements. So we will dispose all emails within a given period, let's say 90 days, they will be deleted, but we will provide to the business, to Josh, a selective email retention, a way to save emails selectively by business user, by the various business units. They will be able to save this email in a central repository to capture this email, to classify this email, and to apply retention label. This way, we have a much more selective email retention. We don't keep everything and we don't delete everything. We keep what only makes sense for the business. Who decides? The business user. Now, to implement this type of selective retention policy, let's take a look at the implementation. And in the case of Allianz and all our customers, they see that SharePoint is a very solid platform for document management, for content management. Unfortunately, SharePoint doesn't really support emails. There is no email view in SharePoint. From a Microsoft standpoint, emails are staying in Exchange and documents are in SharePoint. But with Harmony, you can actually overcome this limitation and get a complete solution where you get the ability to capture and classify emails and attachments on SharePoint or even on Teams in the File tab of Teams. This you can do with Harmony, and then you can use what you have already licensed, which is under your Microsoft 365 subscription. You have already licensed SharePoint. If you have an E5 license, you have already licensed Microsoft Purview. So all of these, you are using existing assets plus Harmony, and you're getting a pretty cost-effective solution to implement a selective retention policy. So that's what Allianz did. And before we get to the Allianz demo, we would like to hear more from you about your retention battle. So let's see.
Okay, so thank you, Yaakov. Okay, this is the question we would like you to answer, please. Do you feel the email retention tension that Yaakov was talking about in your organization? And please select one. Yes, between legal and business units. Yes, but mainly around retention labels. No, only legal manages disposition and retention, or this is not something we experience. We will wait until you answer and then we'll show the results. Okay, let's take a look. Yaakov, do you see the results?
Yes. Wow, very interesting. So we have 65% which see such a retention battle. So 65% really see this retention battle. Only 35% don't see it. But what's also interesting, within the 65%, 2/3 are indeed saying that this retention battle is mostly between legal and business units. And for 24, this battle exists, but it's mostly around the retention periods, the retention labels. So that's actually very interesting to see that what we have seen with our customers, 65% of the audience, and we have a great group here of IT leaders and compliance leaders actually are facing this issue. And this was interesting for us to get also your feedback, so we understand that we need to continue to work on this issue. So thank you. So the other aspect that we need to take into account, and that came very, very loud from the business units at Allianz, is that the key things is the user, the business user at the end. Because as we said, there is no automation, there is no clear rule to say, okay, this email needs to be saved for business continuity. This is a judgment call by key information workers. So you need to make it very easy, because really for the user, they are not paid to save emails. They are paid to do their job. They want to get their job done. And actually, in a previous webinar of the future of information management, we asked about what is the main obstacle for email retention. And we saw that the main thing was, for 62%, it was engaging user is the main thing. So really, one of the things you need to think about, you may have a bunch of meetings with IM and with business units and with legal, and you may come up with solutions, but if the user at the end of the day, which are not in the boardroom, don't follow and don't engage in these programs, you end up with less than 10%. And typically in compliance initiative, you have less than 10% compliance. So that's one of the challenge we really are very busy tackling with Allianz. And maybe what we will do, let's take a demo and we'll talk about what we're doing at Harmony to really try to boost user engagement.
I connected my SharePoint site that you've just seen in the browser to Harmony. So now I am able to access what I actually see in the browser just via this sidebar in Outlook. So this is just the same as I would see in the SharePoint browser view. You can see this Harmony demo dossier that I just created in the browser. And I can now do the same archiving journey for emails as well. So I can just pick an email and move it into my Harmony sidebar. We configured Harmony in a way that it automatically detects emails as relevant emails whenever they are uploaded via Harmony. The reason for this is that we actually want the user to only upload their relevant emails and not emails that are not relevant from a legal or business perspective. And with that, they just need to select the appropriate document class, as they did for normal documents as well. Save it, and the email is now uploaded into SharePoint, into my dossier, and is archived properly. I can do the same for email attachments. So whenever I receive any file format as an attachment to an email, I can also just drag and drop that file into the sidebar. Again, as you've seen in the browser view, I need to select a content type for this uploaded file. So in this case, it's a relevant document. And just the same as in the browser or for an email, I need to provide a document class. And now actually all the functionality of SharePoint applies to those files. As mentioned, Harmony is just another view into SharePoint.
And I wanted maybe a little bit to summarize what Julia did. Allianz is using Microsoft Purview and Harmony in order to enable these business users to drag and drop emails, drag and drop attachments into what they call dossier. And they only ask the user to confirm that the email is a business email, what she called a relevant email, and then she has a document class, which really define what should be the retention. And this being done in the background to define the retention using Microsoft Purview. And really with Harmony, it's very simple for the users. They just need to drag and drop either an attachment, an email, select from Outlook without leaving Outlook. They can select the metadata associated with this email. An email view is automatically created and they can see the emails within the Harmony sidebar in Outlook. So that's how they're achieving compliance. One of the key features that Harmony provide out of the box is this automatic email view creation. You can file emails on Teams or SharePoint, and you have automatically the email fields like from, to, subject, and so on are actually mapped to SharePoint columns, so you can very easily filter email from a sender, or email about a particular subject, and so on. So that's one key thing. The other thing is that the entire, all the metadata and even retention labels can be automatically, or can be you drag and drop. For example, I may do it here. Something we didn't show. One of the main features actually used within Harmony and by Allianz as well is this ability to take bulk operations. So I can take multiple emails and I can drag and drop them to, I select multiple emails and I drag and drop them to the Harmony sidebar, and all the emails are being uploaded, and then I can automatically, I get the metadata, and I can fill up the retention label, and for all this email, in this case I selected 4 emails, I can basically fill all the metadata in one click, and I can then save. So that's making it very easy. So I need to pick the account name. I can pick the account name from here. Here it is. I can pick the document name. Sorry, I pick the account name. I pick the document type. And that's it, I save. And I can do that for 100 emails or for 5 emails, whatever it is. One of the things to be careful about is to make sure that the business units don't save all their emails, but only the relevant emails. And that's where we can talk about it. Our AI will be able to help this type of scenario as well. Okay. So we've seen also how you can very easily, business user can very easily apply metadata, apply retention labels. We have over 2 million of emails every month, which are uploaded through Harmony. And in the past quarter, we have about 2 million labels, which have been set through Harmony. So this way people are, sometimes the container already has a defined default retention label, but if you need the user to actually apply it manually, this can be done pretty easily. So we have seen how you get a pretty cost-effective solution because it's already in your Microsoft 365 subscription. Harmony is just an incremental cost on top of your Microsoft 365 subscription. And you have a solution which mitigate and answer legal needs, business needs, and even more importantly, the user needs. And that's what we call a compliance that makes business sense. Something which is accepted by all the part of the organization. You can create consensus across legal and the business units, and you can have user needs being answered with simple drag and drop. The next step in this journey is really to take advantage of AI, and we have been working on how to really facilitate email retention by automating the email, or at least recommending the email retention. So the idea is really to train a model to take the main expert within the company, like the legal folks working for Melanie and some user from multiple business units. They know what needs to be saved. So what you can do in order to overcome this limited adoption to 10%, what you can do is to actually train a model an AI model, a large language model, and learn from this AI training team, this group of experts. You can learn what they think needs to be saved. And then Harmony will label in the inbox of every one of the enterprise user which has Harmony installed. It will suggest to save some of his emails by basically identifying the emails which are semantically similar to the one which the training team has saved. And this way you take your best team in terms of compliance, and you take the compliance best practice to the entire organization. So a small group does it right, and then all the organization gets the benefits from it. And this way, we will do also predictive filing. We'll also tell you where to save it, what label to apply. So really moving from a tool where we are making it easier for the engaged user to do it, to really something which is semi-automatic with recommendation. Within Harmony, we'll get this, you have 14 important emails, and every email will have where to save it, eventually what metadata and retention label to apply. And this really is a way to reduce the burden on the users and to really make sure that you don't over retain, because only what is the training team has saved, that will be the only thing which will be saved. And you can, the model will get smarter as we move on, and it will also, if there is a bulk which is of email which is being moved and some email don't fit what the model has learned so far, that will be also a warning to maybe not to save these emails. And what's really important is that the emails stay on your tenant, and the AI is being done without taking the email from your tenant, and actually the AI will be done, all the vector embedding will be done on the client side with a very unique architecture. And so you get a pretty strong, or you get a cost-effective compliance solution leveraging Microsoft SharePoint, Microsoft Purview, and you get something which also maintain your privacy. And this gives you a user-centric solution which really alleviates the tension between business units and legal. So we have
Thanks,
one
Jacob.
more. Yeah, please.
Yes, we wanted to ask, do you think Harmony AI can benefit your enterprise compliance? And if you could please answer. Yes, absolutely. I need to learn more, or I don't think so. And once you finish voting, I'll show the results. Okay.
Excellent. So we have 53% of the participants which are saying absolutely this can help our enterprise compliance. And we have 47 which need to learn more. And of course, we'll have to talk about it more. And we are also working with our compliance partners to really fine-tune this. So we're still in our journey, and our goal is to deliver Harmony AI in 2024, in the first half. Okay, this is taking us to Q&A.
Yes. Okay. We have a couple of questions. Okay. I was wondering how long was the rollout for 180K users at Allianz?
Yeah, the project with Allianz was 24 months to roll it out. And that's where, and then more to increase adoption and improve compliance. So 24 months was the first period, and we just the past 6 months we are now taking care more of the adoption.
Thank you. Another question, when can we test the AI features of Harmony?
So we will have in the first quarter of next year, probably by end of March, we'll have a design partner program where people will be able to participate. It's going to be bundled with the new Harmony. You can see the new Harmony. We have a preview of the new Harmony in the app source. So you feel free to go there and type Harmony, and you will see the new Harmony. If you want also to learn more about where we are heading and how in new environment to achieve compliance that make business sense, you can book a demo with one of the Harmony compliance experts, which will show you practically how this happens and how you can improve also user experience. Feel free to click here on the book a demo. We have also, you have already in your chat, you can see in the chat, you have a link to the book a demo, and you have a link to a 30 days trial.
Just a second, I'm just sending the trial link now. Yeah, now you have it. You have both links. And Yaakov, one last question. We cannot afford emails to be leaving our tenant. How can our privacy be sustained?
Yes, so this is the main issue with AI, as everybody knows. We can't afford to have a Facebook level privacy, so that doesn't work in the enterprise. So at Harmony, we always had, for the past 12 years, we always had a very stringent privacy policy because no data is leaving the customer tenant. We have a client-only architecture. And actually, even for AI, we will have a language model which will be bundled with the new Harmony and which will perform federated learning, meaning that we will only pass to our AI server vectors, which are a semantic representation of the emails, which are not readable by humans. This is the way AI is learning, is from these vector embeddings, and that's the way that federated learning is the most private architecture. So everything will be in the client, everything will remain the client, and no email will be transferred to any server. So your data is your data, and it stays on your tenant.
Thank you, Yaakov. Another question. Please, could you show how to visualize from Teams the emails in a chronological view?
Yes, let's try to do that right now. So I can go first to Harmony. So let's say I go to Harmony. So Harmony, as you have seen, is a plugin to Outlook. I have all my SharePoint sites, all my recent documents, my favorite location, and I can go to any teams that I'm working with, and I see all the teams. I can see if I have even private channels, and I can double click, and here I can select the automatic email view that Harmony has created. So this is something I can see from either Outlook or from Teams, this email view. So if I select the email view, what I get the sender, I get the recipients, I get the subject, if there is attachment or no. So I get an email view, which I can customize also from Harmony. And this, obviously, because we have created this using the APIs, I have the same, let me see, I have the same view on Teams. So I can go on Teams, but I will have to restart Teams. I can go on Teams in the same customer wins team, and I will have the same view on Teams. This has been automatically created by Harmony.
Thank you, Yaakov. I wanted to thank you for this great presentation and thank all of you for joining us today. As we mentioned, you will receive an email with a link to view this webinar again within a couple of days. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you would like us to cover, please send us an email. And we look forward to meeting you again in our next webinar.
And you have the links here. We leave the window maybe open so you can go to the links if you want to book a demo or if you want to try and give it a try. Thank you.
Thank you, Yaakov. Bye-bye.